Okay guys, we're going to work on tutorial number 2 here on the Peterbilt 378 cab to hood fitment issues. Um, the first thing I want to touch on here today is when you get the frame assembled, which actually I have one here that Sandy worked on some time ago. Some of you may remember seeing it on the forum. But this frame is pretty much box stock. It's assembled, it's square, and it works great for the tutorial we're doing today because it's already finished and I can easily show you some of the tricks that I use on this. So this is what we're going to be using for to show you how to line things up. And like I say, this is box stock. The cross members, everything is in the location that the instructions tell you to put it. So there's nothing done to that. But the first thing I want to start with is the little cab mounts that they're going to give you. They tell you to put these little things on the sides of the frame pretty early in the assembly process. That is something that I do not do with these. The first modification that I make is on top of the cab mount that is actually going to sit right underneath of the drop down pieces on your firewall. That firewall is going to sit right in this area right here. You're going to see some little raised balses around the outside of that area. Take your hobby knife or your snippers and shave that down until the surface of this is totally flat all the way across there with nothing sticking up. The next thing I do to this piece is there's going to be 2 pins that mount this to the frame. The holes are already in the frame, and what they do is it give you 2 pins here, and it locates this part exactly to the frame. The only issue with that is that's part of the reason that the cab and the hood doesn't line up on these things. So same process, just take your hobby knife and just shave those little pins off. And that's pretty much all it is to modifying these 2 pieces. Now, like I say, take these 2 pieces once you have them modified and set them to the side. Do not install them on the frame. The next step that we're going to do, or actually that I do, is this happens to be Sandy's cab that she put together and had some paint and decal issues, so we're going to use it for the tutorial. On this side, you can see that we do not have the lower cowl extension attached. What I do with these is I purposely take these off. I'm going to show you why I take those off. Very easy process. Take your number 11 blade in your hobby knife, and there is a real nice groove here right below the cab and right above the extension. Just take your knife and set it right into that groove and just make a couple passes front to back. Just score in that section a little bit, just like that. And you just want to grab a hold of it near the top here and just do a little bit of twisting. You can cut all the way through this if you want to. I prefer to do it this way. That way the knife doesn't happen to slip out and go across the bottom of the cab or something goofy like that. Now when I do it this way, I also leave a little bit of excess plastic on here. So I just take my knife and I lightly shave that off. Actually, Sandy should have done this when she originally done this cab, and it would have saved her a lot of headaches toward the end of it. So that's shaved off now. The other thing that you can do to make it just a little bit better is to take your sanding stick and just very lightly hit that area to make sure that it's flat. Right there where you removed that. And same process with your lower cowl extension. Just kind of flatten that area out and make sure that it's a pretty true surface. So when you go to glue this back on, you've actually got a nice glue joint. I've got that sanded down, and to show you how it's basically going to go back together is it's just a matter of when you have all your final assembly done and you're getting ready to mount the cab, just put a little bead of glue across the top of your cowl extension and set it right into place, right where it goes, and you're good to go. Same thing with the other side. But I'll show you in a minute why I take those off. It's going to make one of the steps a lot easier. Okay, the next thing after I do that is I want to take my assembled cab and the hood that we've already done the modifications on, like I described in the first tutorial. And I will take a little bit of Tamiya tape. And what you want to do is line up the cab and the hood with each other. And if you've made your modifications right on your hood, these two pieces should line up real good at this stage. And all you want to do is just kind of cover halfway on the hood, halfway on the cowl. And just, you don't have to press that down real hard. You just need enough to hold the two pieces together. And I do it on that side, and then I will turn it around here. And we'll line it up again. And we'll put a piece of tape on this side. Okay, now we have the hood taped to the cab. And at this point, both of these pieces are lined up directly with each other. The next step that you want to do is get your pivot pins out that go to your hood. And I'm going to move the frame over here so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, there's that. Now take the assembly that you have taped together. Put your one pin in. In this case, I'll be putting the right side pin in here first. That one's in. And pop your left side pin in. Now remember, I do have the floor pan already pushed up into place in this cab. It's not glued in. I do not recommend gluing it in at this point. So just push it up in place. And when you tilt this back, there's a boss underneath for the floor pan that's going to line up with this crossmember hole. You want to pop that into place. Now, at this point right now, our hood and cab is lined up. And it will stay lined up if, when you're done with everything, with your final assembly, if you don't put a lot of weight in this area right here, where I'm pushing down on. And to show you what I'm talking about, I'm going to lay my finger across here and I'm going to push down. Watch the cab move downward. That's part of the problem with this hood and cab alignment, because say you're doing a dump truck like I'm doing for my customer build. I have noticed that when I loaded the scratch-built dump body onto this frame, or actually onto my CNC frame, it does add some extra weight and push down. That will change the alignment of the cab mounts and the hood. So you have to be very careful of how much weight that you're putting on this. So basically what our next step is going to be is, we know that this lines up here. Now the reason that I cut those lower extensions off for the cowl is now we are going to install the front cab mounts. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a real good view of this, but all you want to do is put some glue on this. And actually, let me get the right one here that goes to this side. There we go. I think that's the right one. Yeah, that's it. And once you put some glue on here, you want to work this cab mount right over top of the holes where the pins used to be on this. And the reasoning for that is, when you put some glue on here, you can slide this mount up and down the frame rail. And that way, as you slide it up and down the frame rail, you want to get it to contact these little mounts on the firewall. And if you set the cab and the hood back into position where it's actually going to go on the finished model and adjust these cab mounts up and down to fit that point, your cab and your hood will line up exactly. And that is going to be true unless you add, say, aluminum fuel tanks to this, which you can see this frame here has the KFS brackets on it that Sandy added. And if I was to put a KFS tank on this, it will pull this side of the frame down. So I guess the best thing to do that I can tell you to do is, if you're going to put aluminum tanks or you're going to put a lot of weight onto this frame, make sure that all of that weight is pretty much installed or at least mocked into position before setting your cab and your hood alignment. Because like I say, if the frame does flex down, it will change that alignment. So if you have everything mocked up here and all your tanks and everything hanging in place, and do this procedure here, glue your cab mounts on in the front, slide them up until they touch at the firewall. When you take your tape off and you flip your hood forward, your hood and your cab is going to line up. There's no other reason why it will not. And if for some reason later on, as you get up to final assembly, it seems like it does not line up, you have definitely done something where you have changed this alignment. Because I can guarantee you, if this lines up at this point right now and you do not add weight to this frame, or add any more weight to the frame than at the exact time you had it mocked up, none of this is going to change. So when you get to your finished stuff, putting on your stacks, putting on your breathers, doing your grill, all that stuff, everything is going to line up for you. If for some reason or another you cannot get it to line up this way, there is some more procedures that can be done. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it on a video, because the drawback to it is, if I have to substantially modify either this rear mount or these front mounts or the pivot pin mounts, it will change how your stacks are going to go on. It's going to change how your intercooling piping may fit, your inlet pipes for your breathers. There's a lot of things that it can affect. The steering shaft. So I don't think I'm really going to get into that. But like I say, if you follow these procedures that I've showed you in the last two videos here, your cab and your hood will line up. Like usual, if you have any questions on either this or anything else that I've done, or maybe you have a question on something I haven't touched on yet as far as the subject, and you need some advice on it or some helpful tips, shoot me an email through the forum, and I will be more than glad to do a video up for you. So hopefully going into the 378, or actually the Peterbilt build on the forum, for you guys that are going to do the 378s, hopefully this will steer you in the right direction and give you a better fitting and a better looking model when it's all done. So I'm going to let you go on that today. I got a few more videos I'm working on. They'll be coming up here in the near future. So I thank y'all for watching, and if it's any questions, just shoot me a PM through the forum, and we'll talk to you later. Have a good day.